Good morning, and welcome to the Rick Helps Real Estate Show. Hello, Mary V. Title check. I'll talk about that in a moment. And good morning, Jackie. Happy Monday to everybody. It's supposed to be another wonderful day. Yesterday, the weather was fabulous. I bought some runners to put on my truck, and they got these great big brackets going there. And I read the instruction manual, and it just didn't look very clear to me. So I went and YouTubed it. And I know a lot more about installing runners on a Dodge truck than I did on Friday. The problem is I couldn't find my particular brackets. I spent 20 minutes digging for that. So I went out and attacked it. By golly, I got it done. So welcome. We're taking a look at what's going on in the market a bit here this morning. And I want to talk about, again, some misinformation on foreclosures. So some of these YouTubers just can't let it go. They're just trying to scare you. They're trying to get more views, make more money. I get it. And finally, the Cromford market people finally weighed in on that this weekend. Really kind of slapped them kind of hard. But I want to show some of the stuff that's going on. So here is, let's see, I want to start before we get too carried away. Let's talk about interest rates this morning. They came down. Look at that, 6.38. The bond market is kind of operating a little flat this morning, was slightly negative. It's kind of coming back, but you might remember the last time that the central bank raised the rates quarter of a point. Rates actually came down a pretty good clip, and then the following Monday, they shot up. We're seeing a little bit of that now, but there's been some good banking news, so the contagion doesn't appear to be taken off yet. From the small banks. So that's good to hear. So there's nothing for the mortgage market to panic about or cheer about yet. So you can see it's just kind of hanging there. Our active listings still going down. You can see on the bottom scrolling down there, we're still 14,100 this morning, but they're not climbing by any stretch of the imagination. The listing success rate kind of kept going up, and then just kind of went sideways here for a week, which kind of coincides to the banking news. And, we saw a little bit of that in the 7-day moving average here where it kind of went down. But look at that. Over the past few days, looking at the average, we're back to 3,200 now. That's kind of surprising, but it's there. And we're not seeing a whole lot of ugly news out there when it comes to real estate. So speaking of that, we jump in here, and here is pending foreclosures. Now, just because a foreclosure is pending doesn't mean it's going to get foreclosed on. It means, hey, you're behind. Let's take a look at this. And so, back here, the green line, that's 2019 before the pandemic. And then you can see in 2020 that pending foreclosures went way down. Obviously, yeah, I know that. Look, there's no shortage of crashers out there. I get it. We had the forbearance, so there were no foreclosures. But it is true, if you look at percentage wise of foreclosures, they're way up because there weren't any. So you can say foreclosures are up 200%. And I'll still repeat and say a large percentage of a small number is still a small number. 200% of a tiny number is still tiny. So the Crawford report came in and phrased it just another way. And it is also exaggerated. Foreclosures are actually up by 100%. And that is far less than anyone expected, even me. This is editorial by Tina Tambour. Hey, there's Dan. Welcome. The foreclosures up, the world would be crashing. Yeah, it's nuts out there. But she kind of goes into a little tirade. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but she does say, in conclusion, a rule of thumb: if pending foreclosures stay before 8,000, you need not be worried about a wave of foreclosed properties hitting the market. 10,000 is about the maximum the market can absorb without running into problems. I would consider it worth worrying if we break through 8,000. We currently have just over 1,000. You can check the chart above every month to confirm whether you need it or not. Now, and it says not is the current answer. So we're sitting here at around 1,000. They're saying at 10,000, is concern. But we had 50,000 of those. 50,000? Let's see. Let me read here again. I think she had how many we had after the crash. I can't seem to find it. I'm trying to read it too quick. But I remember during the crash, you can see here's over 10,000 right there. Notices of trustee sales. Down here. Now, these are the ones where they've actually put them up for sale. Okay, so you get a pre-foreclosure, and hardly anybody needs to foreclose on their properties because of the equity they have. Sure, there's a few that don't have it, but when it's a pre-foreclosure, they go, well, somebody's got to buy it from you so that you can pay off this note. So you've got this big pre-foreclosure number of 1,000, but the actual number of homes that foreclosed on, notice of trustee sales, it says 306. Actual trustee sales, 28. So in other words, you're saying, well, we're going to have to sell these. We're putting you on notice that we're going to have to sell these homes. And the homeowners make other arrangements. And then some of them couldn't get it done. So it's 28. 28. That's not very many, folks. So the crying from the rooftops of foreclosures coming is not very genuine. And it's just a lot of scare tactics, to be honest with you. I saw a Facebook post from a real estate agent talking about what this weekend was like for him in Tempe, of all places. We saw some Cromford numbers last week that showed that the index actually went down a little bit in Tempe. But this guy said, I showed 9 homes. All of them went under contract. Over half of them had multiple offers. One went under contract before I could even get to it. And he said, I was not expecting this. This weekend was pretty good. Jackie says here, and half of those probably could have sold, but they go in fear mode and do nothing. I agree. So I was speaking with a couple of people this weekend about listing their home and whether or not they wanted to list it now or wait or make it a rental. And I said, one thing I want everybody to understand is that, the market's not tanking, yet it's not taking off like crazy. But most buyers are just watching the news and they think it's grim out there. And here's Lovey to see who says, I know someone who's doing nothing, hasn't paid property taxes. And that's a good way to lose your house. So she listed it 3 months just last June. Good morning, ET. So what I said was the buyers haven't got the memo yet that this is a pretty normal market this month. So no matter what price you list your house at, they're going to offer you less. So, but there's rare circumstances where you don't, it won't happen. So I'm not saying it's 100% of the time, but if you ask 400, they're going to offer you 390. You ask 410, they're going to offer you 400. And she said, yeah, my neighbor across the street said, hey, I hear it's pretty bad. There you go. I hear. When you actually look at the numbers, it's not pretty bad. And we're looking at the listing success rate actually climbed up a little bit. See if I can show this to you here. If I can find it, listing success rate. Yep. Almost got it right here. And here we go. So, that's not the one I wanted. Good Lord. That thing is such a mess. By type. Well, shoot. I don't want to drag you through this if I can't find the right one. Trust me when I tell you it's up. We did not have a real estate manipulators meeting this weekend. There just wasn't room for us at the Golden Corral, so we didn't meet to fudge the numbers. Who's buying? Out-of-staters, investors? Investors, no. Investor traffic's way down. I still get the calls, but they want junk. So investors want fixer-uppers, and there are a few people out there that are selling to investors, but they're not looking at this market right now as a buying opportunity. They've taken their money and gone to other states. There's still out-of-state buyers, not as many coming in from California. California's got a couple problems. One, their real estate's was going down at a pretty good clip, but the weather has killed them over there. It's been nothing but rain, especially in NorCal. A lot of houses up there underwater and or snowed in. Go to Lake Tahoe. It's unbelievable. So we're seeing move-up buyers. We're seeing a lot of first-time home buyers. They're able to get into a home, and so they're making their move. don't underestimate the amount of money that's been saved out there. It's pretty mind-boggling. There's a lot of these young millennials that socked away a lot of cash, and they're ready to buy. And we're seeing that. We're not seeing waves and waves of it, but 3,200 is pretty respectable. At the peak, 7-day moving average, we were moving 4,400. So while we're way down, we're not that far off. So again, my point with listing your home is, not all buyers have heard the news of exactly what's going on in the market. Sometimes they get out there and they're a little surprised that somebody else is looking at the house too. Wait, I thought the market was dead. Jackie here says we had quite a few Utah, Colorado, Washington buyers recently, and Oregon. So they're all leaving the Northwest, getting out of that rainy weather. By the way, we're supposed to be 80 degrees on Wednesday. How cool is that? Now, there's some advice here I bumped into. If you've been living in your home for a long time, and now you're thinking of selling your home, and this is an article saying, here's the top 10 states where you're probably going to come out pretty good on selling your home and you can move to another state. I won't go into the top 10 states, but I read an interesting line here that said, one of the best things a retiree can do to get the maximum value out of their home is to be sure it's in good shape when they sell it. This is a senior economist in Lending Tree. For those that have lived in their home for a long time without making any significant changes, it's not uncommon to find yourself in a situation where your home seems dated or run down. You don't need to gut renovate your home, but modernize your kitchen, replacing worn down carpet in high traffic part of the home, or even painting and fixing creaky doors can make a big difference to prospective buyers and not only help you sell your home faster, but also receive the biggest offer. And one of the things it says here, like says, when you've lived in your house for many years, you stop noticing the things that would bother a buyer, like scuffs on baseboards, toilet handles that must be jiggled. Ask a neutral person to walk through the home and identify all the little things that might turn off buyers. Make sure the house's major systems are functioning and aren't in need of replacement. Includes plumbing, the roof, heating, air conditioning, and the electric water heater. So I could not agree with that more, because I think it's also worth it. If you've lived in a house for a long time, do a pre-inspection. Have somebody come in and pre-inspect it, let you know if anything major is going on, because it's always a pain point when the inspection comes in and you're the seller and you weren't even aware of these problems, but the buyer found out, and the inspection period's only 10 days and everybody's rushing to go out and get second opinions and another inspector out there. And if you kind of work through this before you list, it really lowers the anxiety, and you can list and go, I already had it inspected. Here's what they found. Here's what I fixed. But by all means, go ahead and hire another inspector, but it adds a level of comfort for the buyer. And I also agree that when you've been in a home for a long time, there's a lot of little things that are worn out that you probably just walk right by. That paint spot in the ceiling, that leak that you had 15 years ago is probably still stained. The carpet's worn out. So have somebody that's neutral. Maybe a real estate agent, maybe not. Maybe just have a friend or family member come over and say, hey, what do you think buyers won't like here? And do that. And then grab a realtor and have them come in and take a look. We do that all the time. We walk around and go, well, I would move this. There's a lot of plants there. I think I'd put them somewhere else. I would take down those photos. That 16-foot canoe that's in your ceiling, I'm thinking maybe it should go. I had one, folks, 16-foot canoe hanging from the ceiling. Thanks, Jackie. We are getting ready to celebrate. And I'm not sure how we're going to do it yet, but we're going to be celebrating 1 million views on this channel. It looks like it's going to happen about the 17th of April, maybe a week sooner. So we're going to have some giveaways, might have a little soiree somewhere. Don't know yet. Just having conversations with the team and figure out what we're going to do. Dan here says we have 25 to 30 first-time home buyer consultations. Daily demand is there. Prices and rates freaking people out, but buying locks in your payment is why younger people are continuing to buy. locks in your payment is the key. Rent's always going up, right? Always going up. Even went up during the Great Recession. Didn't go up a lot, but it still went up. Then it went up like crazy. So I've heard rent increases of $600 a month. So they're tired of it. You know, we had the year of the buyer beat down combined with the year of the renter beat down. Maybe participate in the inspection period as a seller. Family members trying to buy and seller has failed to turn on gas until 8 of 10 days in the period. You know, I see that a lot. I had one down in Chandler where we found a leak, and so, but we didn't find the leak until the second inspection because we went down there to inspect it, and the guy was using this place as a rental, and he had the water turned off on the main out in the street. So the inspector went back, turned on the main, goes in the house, and just sees water gushing through the garage. It was leaking from way upstairs. Well, no wonder he turned off the main. So he had to turn that back off. He gets back in there, repairs it, had to send the inspector back out to repair all that. Well, now the gas is off. So we don't know if the water heater works or if the stove works. So you kind of have all the utilities on for the inspection. Drove me absolutely crazy. We walked away from that one. It was nuts. According to YouTube, the market's crashing. It is. It's severe. It's terrible. I'd get out of it and run as fast as we can. Can the market crash? Yes, of course it can. That's always been a possibility. What is a crash? Well, that's always debatable. Is it 25% down? Is it 40%? And I even saw a news story that said that Phoenix may crash again like it did in 2008 when it crashed 25%. No, Channel 12, we crashed 48%. So even though the Bloomberg article came out and said we might be down 25%, just like 2008, they missed it by 50%. You know, we were down 48%, not 25%. So, you know, you just have to know your numbers. And, but then there's also some YouTubers out there that I like, and I don't mean this to be a YouTube bashing channel because you can pile on me if you want as well. But some of them are talking to you about short-term rental opportunities. In other words, are there some opportunities coming up with listings that you can buy to use as a rental? So there's some real math in that. So they look at buying opportunities kind of like a stock, but they're buying and holding long term, but they're looking at cash flow. Now, your average first-time home buyer is not looking at cash flow. They're just looking, can I afford the payment or can I not afford the payment? And how long do I think I'm going to live there? So when you look at some of these, like Michael Zuber, he's all about helping people invest in real estate and make sure their cash flow is proper. So he's looking at it from different eyeballs that other people would look at. So try not to be too confused with that. Same with Ken McElroy. He's a investor, especially in multifamily properties. I respect both of them a great deal. Renee says, I'm glad people are buying locked in for many years to come. If rates go down, maybe they can refinance and just keep it. You all know that I'm not a big fan of adjustable rate mortgages in this market right now. I'm not a fan of advising people to say, oh, yeah, buy now because you know you can refinance later. That's not a true statement. I would say you might be able to refinance later. It's likely that you'll be able to refinance later, but don't let anybody tell you that you will be able to refinance later because nobody knows. I mean, odds are it's looking good that rates could come down to where you could refinance, but I think it's very dangerous for somebody to tell you, oh yeah, you can refinance later. Because when you come around and refinance later, you're probably not going to find that agent. They're probably gone out of the business. Keenan is back and says, I hear you on prepping a house for sale. I'm in the middle of prepping my home for sale. So repairing drywall holes, painting, updating fixtures. Yep, absolutely. Prep that home. Chandler's doing well, Keenan. I'm sure you've seen the numbers here. That's doing very well. So if you need assistance with that, let me know what I can do. Sean, what do you think rates will be by year end? Sean, I don't know, but I'll tell you what I would guess. I think it's going to be the high fives. That's my guess based on what I'm seeing now, and based on what we're hearing from Barry Habib, which he's saying that May 10th we're going to see a big turn down. So I don't think the central banks are in a position to put any more squeeze on these small regional banks with higher rates. So we'll see. Are the 1 million to 2 million homes selling well? They're selling, but they've really slowed down considerably. But they were moving at a pretty good clip. So I'm going to have to, let's see, let me see if I can look at listing success rate by price range here. And wouldn't you know it, it's just as dirty a chart as the last one I pulled up. But let me try and clean this up here and see if it gives me anything. This is the busiest chart I've ever seen. Here we go. Oh, God. Okay. I don't know what this is telling us. March 2023, 69% is the listing success rate. Anything over 60 is considered good. So they're doing okay. They were cranking in February at 86%. So they are down by about 20% as a success rate. I apologize what I just did to your retinas there. So I'll have more details on that possibly tomorrow morning for you. You heard it here, Riss. Okay, let's see. I know you mistyped a couple things here. Posted on social media. Yeah, get out me out there, Sean. I changed some doorknobs yesterday. Man, you were working hard. Terry here says, did Harry Habib tell Pat to sleep in today? Pat is never on my Monday show. And I don't think we're going to have a Friday show because I'm heading to Vegas, meeting some friends up there. I owned rental property since 98. As a rule of thumb, you'll need to set aside 50% of rental income for operating costs. You are welcome, Nathan. And Jason here says, looked like a cardiac arrest graft. Yeah, it does kind of look like my EKG, doesn't it? I got to figure out how to clean that thing up. I've clicked on that before and this isn't telling me anything. It's just telling me somebody likes graphs. But as you're prepping a home for sale, you know, sometimes the little things make a big things. We were talking yesterday about outlet covers. And I said, well, the only time outlet covers show up is when you've got some really clean white ones here and then two dingy beige ones that have been on there since 1968. Then that stands out to people. Or you've remodeled and they're crooked. I don't think buyers walk around looking at that, but they don't even look at it unless they see pristine next to junk. Then they see it and they look and go, oh gosh, what is that? Enjoying your morning updates. Thanks. I'm going to continue to do this. I'm going to be on the road, as you all know, in May, but I have able-bodied, experienced realtors that work with me that are going to help take on and help any of you that need help buying or selling. And so I don't refer to just anybody. I only refer if I know they're going to take care of the job. And the partners that I have here are incredibly skilled. So it's I'm going to continue to do the morning updates while I'm on the road. How good is my connection going to be? It all depends if those doggone people where I ordered this thing called the Nomad would just ship me the wireless modem. And I've emailed them again this morning and I haven't got a response yet. I may have to do something else. We have slowed down the past couple of weeks. More listings, less pendings. I think it's slowed down a little bit down here, and it went down, but now it's picking up after this weekend. It's interesting. I think all that rain made us just want to stay inside. So everybody take on this Monday. Have a great start to the week, and I will see you tomorrow morning. Take care.